Hello everybody, this is Freddy from Turn Vertical, and in today's video I want to go over the worst Facebook advice that I still, people still giving out, or people, still making YouTube videos about, and I want to kind of go over each one of these. So yeah, I would say let's get right into it. First things first is, $10 ad sets. I recently was watching a YouTube video with like the top testing technique in 2023, 2022 or something like that, and it was literally like, just use the $10 ad sets, keep them running for one day, and then when they have one sale, you wait 24 hours, and if there's then no more sale, you turn it off, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. Give Facebook some room to breathe. Facebook is smarter than you are, smarter than I am, smarter than everybody is. And if you launch and test, keep it running till there are some impressions, till Facebook can make a decision. If you have bad ads, the way how they're not getting any spend is if you use CBO for testing. And ideally, if you have a scaling campaign, you shouldn't have to worry about $10 ad sets because the ads are proven and you should be able to scale them up, right? So the only really thing where I see $10 ad sets being kind of advised is in testing. And how are you getting statistical significance or like a correlation, between spend and results if you're spending like $10 per day? It's bad advice also, if your AOV, let's say AOV is $5 and you keep your $10 ad sets running for like 2, 3, 4 days. Yes, you might have some relevance there because your AOV is $5 and your CPA is like $1. But if your AOV is like $50 and your CPA is like 25, how are you getting any sales at all? Like, makes no sense. Then, number 2, I basically went over. Number 3, combined with the $10 ad sets, like both of them are completely bullshit. But number 3 is, single interests. I still see this in 2023, and it's like the advice that's being given. It's like, you don't want to go, you're advertising shoes, and it's like, you don't want to go for the interest shoe because, everybody's going for the shoe, so you go for fucking Nike. What is that for advice? Like, first of all, not everybody within that Nike audience is interested in shoes. Second of all, audiences are bullshit anyways. I'll make a separate video about that. I already have it planned. I don't know if it's coming after this video or like before that video, but it's planned, it's scheduled, it's coming. And single interests at all, they just don't make sense. Very quickly, interests. If you talk about something, you're going to go into the interest. So because, let's say you somewhere mentioned Nike in a comment or you search for Nike, you're in that Nike audience, but this doesn't mean that you're interested in even buying from Nike or that you like Nike. It could be like, I hate Nike, and you go into the Nike interest audience. So interests are bullshit. If you're still using them in 2023, stop using them, go for broad. But again, I have a separate video explaining where they are bad, and I'll go more into detail, so just wait for that. But yeah, all in all, stop using single interests. If you're ever going to use interests, just make like a multi-stack, which is essentially broad, but whatever. But use like several multiple interests. Also, every interest below like 1 million or 2, even 10 million, it's not worth using at all. Then number 4, number 5, using ABO. I see this over and over again, especially scaling. People use ABO for scaling. The reason why that is bad, in my opinion, is CBO is smarter. Facebook knows, which ad set is better at a given time. And this is why CPO is the way to go, especially if you're scaling. We could have a conversation about using ABO and testing. There's definitely a place for that. I have a separate video about testing and whether you should use CPO or ABO. I have that linked right here. But basically, using ABO and testing in scaling is just making you more work. Because, let's say, the normal scaling setup looks like you have like one interest stack, one broad audience, and like one lookalike audience. That's like how it typically looks like, right? And if using ABO, and let's say you have each one of these at like 500 per day, some days the 1% lookalike is not performing. Then you have to like decrease the budget from the 1% lookalike and give it to like broad. But if you're using CBO at like 1500 per day, Facebook knows which ad set performs when, based on like thousands of data points, and they adjust basically the budget manually for you. This is why, for example, if you have like let's say you have a CBO running, 1% lookalike and broad. In most instances, the broad will perform worse than the 1% lookalike, but the 1% lookalike have way less spend. Now you're thinking, I want to get the lookalike more spend. I'm going to use ABO and it's going to get more spend. I'm going to get better results. False. Reason why that 1% lookalike has better results, better ROAS, better CPA, better whatever, is because it doesn't have as much spend, right? For example, 1% lookalike is a way smaller audience than broad. So they can get less spend behind the 1% lookalike compared to the broad. Broad can always carry more spend. That's why it's the most stable audience that you could, theoretically use. Number 6? Number 6, duplicating to scale. This is 2015 tactic, probably 2016. When I was starting 2017, I think it was still going on. If you're duplicating to scale, especially in like an ABO setup, you're destined to fail. Like, there's no way around it. The way Facebook works the best is if you have as many data points as possible within one place. So the best setup you can literally have is like have one scaling campaign, one broad audience, and like 3 to 5 ads in there. And then from time to time you do tests on a separate campaign and you improve your ads, over time. Maybe find a new angle, maybe find a new creative type, maybe you make one of your best performing ads even better. But that's how you scale, because if there's like, let's say your budget is 1,000 per day and you have like 10 different ad sets each running at 100. How can Facebook learn anything at scale? Like if you go from 100 to 200, boom, your ROAS drops. And you'll be like, my ROAS dropped, I'm going to test duplicate again and test another interest. That's how you fail with Facebook ads. The way you win with Facebook ads is combine as much budget as possible within one place. And that's broad. So duplicating to scale is simply really bad advice, especially if you're using ABO, because then they're even like learning from each other. They're kind of competing with each other, they're stealing from each other. I just noticed I skipped, this point, not using DCT. When you're testing, you should be using DCT, Dynamic Creative. Why? I have a separate video about that coming as well, but basically in short, within a DCT, the elements, within a DCT you can put, I think, like up to 10 creatives, 5 headlines, 5 ad copies, maybe wrong, but something like that. And within the DCT, the elements are learning from each other. So basically the creatives, let's say you have like a video and an image in the DCT. And the video is learning from the image and the image is learning from the video, right? Same goes for the headline, same goes for the ad copy. But if you have like a normal testing setup, you don't have DCT turned on, the elements are not learning from each other. They're kind of stealing from each other, right? Think about this. There are maybe, let's say your audience size is 100,000. And from these 100,000 people, there's maybe 10 who are ready to buy today, right? And if you have now 7 different ads, where it's just like the headline is different, they, could be a good chance that these tend to go for the same people, right? And then one day you get lucky and the first ad is getting like 5 sales, giving you 5x ROAS, and the other one's only getting like 1 sale each. Now you're thinking, okay, 4 of these 5 ads are bad, I'm gonna turn them off. But next day, that one ad which got all of the 5 sales yesterday because it was lucky, because for some reason it kind of won the algo, it won the bid, and it got the best impressions, it got all of the sales, you had a super good conversion rate, you got kind of lucky. Next day it's not getting any sales, you're like, okay, Facebook ads aren't working for me. Just use DCT. The elements are learning from each other. When to show which element is, Facebook is learning that. So, in DCT they're learning. When you're not using DCT, the elements are not learning from each other. They're kind of stealing from each other. That's why it's also not good to have like 5 images from 5 different angles running, because eventually they steal impressions from each other. It's way better to have like a video, image, give testimony, whatever. But that's awesome. It's a video. And then, I kind of went over that in the beginning as well. It's like run to 2 sales within 24 hours and then scale up. And if it's not getting any sale within 24 hours, then you should turn it off. Like, it's simply false advice. Like, it's simply false. Like, the only thing you should care about, the thing where this advice is probably right, is sales. CTR, stop rate, etc. They all only have information to some extent. But the only thing you should really care about is CPA. So if you're not getting any sales, you should probably turn off the ad, correct? But this doesn't factor in what CPA are you looking for. Also, 24 hours is way too short time frame to judge really anything. So get clear about your target CPA. Wait 4 or 5 days, 6 days. Depends on the budget you're using. I typically say 5 to 10x target CPA. And if you're not getting sales, turn the ads off. It's simple as that, but it's not like run to 2 sales and then scale up. Let's say you have a budget of 400 per day. You're getting, enough sales to potentially scale this up. Start slowly. Could be that the ad that got all of this, the $100 ad set Could be that they got like low-hanging fruits, and if you scale this up, they're not getting any sales, you know, the rose drops. And that's normal, because it's just getting low-hanging fruits. So even if you're getting sales, you know, before you scale up, wait. There needs to be some like significance behind it, at least like 50 sales before you even really consider like going beyond 1,000, in my opinion. If you want to be stable, of course, you know, you could be lucky, scale up faster, could get lucky. If you're more advanced, you could probably scale up also faster if you have more knowledge. But if you're a beginner and you're getting some good sales, you know, wait, have some patience. Just because you have a 5x ROAS on $100 per day, it does not mean that you're getting a 5x ROAS at 1,000 per day. Especially not with the tactics, you know, if you're still using these tactics. But yeah, those were the things which I think are like super bad advice. You know, $10 assets, single interest, run ads for 1 day, using ABO, not using DCT, you know, duplicate to scale, run till 2 sales and within 24 hours and then scale. I hope this video helped you. I hope I could kind of debunk some of the tips here. Again, I have so many more, I think, good advice about Facebook ads. Check the videos out, especially the one about like testing, and then also about interest. I think these are super you know, relevant for you if you're still using these tips. But yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video.